Hello?
911, we got a call from this number. Is everything okay? Where are you? Where are...
26-year-old Montanae Davis was found shot on Torrington Place Wednesday. She died at the hospital a short time later.
Hello, 911. My ex-boyfriend is threatening to shoot up my house. My children are inside. These were the last words Montanae Davis spoke to a dispatcher before gunshots tore through her home. It was April 3rd, 2024, just before 3 a.m. in Dayton, Ohio. 26-year-old Montanae had done everything she was supposed to do. She called the police. She gave them his name. She told them he was coming. But Jamarte Brown got there first. He kicked down her back door. He opened fire. And by the time officers arrived at 700 Torrington Place, Montanae was lying in her kitchen, bleeding from multiple gunshot wounds. She died 2 hours later at Miami Valley Hospital. Here's what makes this case so hard to understand. Montanae and Jamarte hadn't been together in 5 years. She had moved on completely. New career as a registered nurse, new man, new baby on the way, new life. So why did he come back after all that time? And where was her new boyfriend when the bullets started flying? Welcome to Shadows of Crime, where we don't just tell true crime stories. We explore the warning signs, the failures, and the lessons that could save lives. If you're new here, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. We cover cases like this every week, and you won't want to miss what happens next. Montanae Antoine Davis was born on September 26, 1997, in Dayton, Ohio. Dayton is known for its tight-knit communities, but it also has one of the highest crime rates in the country. Montanae was determined to rise above her circumstances. From childhood, she was confident and outgoing. She had an infectious laugh that could light up any room. She loved dancing and making people smile. Her friends and family say she was the kind of person who brought energy wherever she went. Montanae attended Thurgood Marshall High School. After graduation, she enrolled at Wright State University, where she studied early childhood education. She graduated in 2019, but she soon realized her true calling was nursing. She wanted to help people in a deeper way. She enrolled at the Ohio Institute of Allied Health to study nursing. After years of hard work and dedication, she became a registered nurse. Her colleagues described her as selfless and compassionate. She had a strong commitment to patient care. And she wasn't done. Montanae had plans to continue her education and advance even further in her career. But nursing wasn't the only thing Montanae poured her heart into. She was a devoted mother to 2 young children. Everything she did was for them. She worked hard to give them a better life. Montanae had a special bond with her own mother, Melissa Dennis. Every single morning, Montanae would call her mom at 6 a.m. After dropping the kids off at daycare and school, the 2 of them would go to breakfast together. It was their routine, their time. After Montanae's death, Melissa spoke about what she'd lost.
This has really took a toll on us, and I hope to make it through, because every day I'm gonna mourn, I'm gonna hurt.
I hope to make it through because every day I'm going to mourn. I'm going to hurt. I can't go to breakfast with my baby. She called me 6 o'clock in the morning. We go to breakfast after the kids are gone to daycare and school. And oh, she was a wonderful sister. Montanae wasn't just a nurse and a mother. She was also a social butterfly. She was active on TikTok and Instagram, where she had thousands of followers. She loved sharing her life online. Fashion, tattoos, travel, fun moments with friends. She wasn't afraid to be herself. Her friends remembered her as generous and loyal. One friend said Montanae was the type of person who would help anyone, even if she didn't know them. If you needed something, even just $2, Montanae didn't mind pulling up. She was always there. She loved throwing house parties. She loved getting tattoos. She loved living life to the fullest. Montanae was financially independent and career-focused. She worked hard to support herself and her children. She was living proof that you could come from anywhere and still make something of yourself. She had the career. She had the kids. She had the plan. She was thriving. All she needed was someone to share it with. And that's where Jamarte Brown came into the picture. At some point in her past, Montanae dated a man named Jamarte Latrell Brown. He was 24 years old at the time of the incident, which means when they were together, he would have been around 18 or 19. Montanae was around 19 to 21. In the beginning, their relationship appeared normal. They spent time together and shared moments online. They went on dates. They took pictures. To people watching from the outside, they seemed happy. But things changed. Brown became possessive and controlling. He monitored Montanae's activities. He checked her phone. He read her messages. He became angry when she interacted with other people, especially other men. He would interrogate her about who she was talking to and why. If Montanae went out without him, Brown would call or text her constantly. He demanded to know where she was at all times. His behavior wasn't normal. It wasn't love. It was control. Montanae realized she needed to get out. The relationship wasn't healthy. She wanted someone ambitious, someone serious-minded, someone who matched her energy and her drive. Brown wasn't that person. So she ended it. The relationship ended approximately 5 years before her death, around 2019. But breaking up with Jamarte Brown was easier said than done. Brown refused to accept the breakup. He refused to let her go. After their relationship ended, he made her life miserable. His harassment was relentless. Montanae was so stressed from his constant contact that she fell into depression. She posted online about what she was going through, trying to cope with the weight of it all. Some people believe Brown never expected Montanae to become successful. He wanted her dependent on him while he did nothing with his own life. But Montanae proved him wrong. She went back to school. She earned her nursing degree. She passed her exams. She became a registered nurse. And she did all of that while raising 2 children on her own. To escape the pain he caused her, Montanae started going out more with her friends. She tried to distract herself. She posted on social media, sharing funny moments and showing the world that she was okay. That she was more than okay. That she was thriving. She was reclaiming her joy. She was proving him wrong. And then something beautiful happened. Montanae met someone new. A man who wiped away her tears and gave her something she hadn't felt in a long time. Happiness. He was everything Jamarte Brown wasn't. He was ambitious. He was attentive. He was present. He took her on trips. They enjoyed the little things together. He was there for her children, treating them like his own. Montanae called him her Russell Wilson. To her, he was the perfect man, the man she had been waiting for. For the first time in years, Montanae felt safe. She felt loved. She felt free. And she wasn't hiding it. Montanae posted their relationship on social media with pride. Vacation photos, couple moments, the everyday joy of being with someone who truly loved her. She wasn't afraid anymore. She wasn't ashamed. She was living her life openly and proudly. Then came the best news of all. Montanae was pregnant. They had a baby shower. They celebrated. They prepared for their new addition. Her partner was there every step of the way, proving himself to be not just a great boyfriend, but a great father. Montanae was in her prime. She had recently graduated as a registered nurse. She had a good job. She had lovely kids. She had an amazing partner. Her life was finally coming together, the way she had always dreamed it would. She had worked so hard to get here. She had survived depression. She had survived harassment. She had survived Jamarte Brown. And now, She was thriving. But someone was watching. For 5 years, Jamarte Brown had been silent. 5 years. Half a decade. Montanae thought he had moved on. She thought he had let her go. She was wrong. Brown had been watching the entire time. He saw every post, every smile, every vacation photo, every ultrasound picture. He saw her new man. He saw her happiness. He saw the life she was building without him. And he couldn't take it anymore. Brown started reaching out again. He began texting her, calling her, every single day. He told her he wanted her back. He couldn't accept that she had moved on. He couldn't accept that she was happy with someone else. He couldn't accept that the woman he once controlled was now completely out of his reach. Some people believe he also wanted access to her money. Montanae had a good-paying job now. She was a registered nurse. She had something to offer. And Brown wanted a piece of it. But Montanae wasn't interested. She had already given him years of her life. She had already suffered through his harassment. She had already moved on. There was nothing left for them to talk about. Brown didn't see it that way. This is where the story takes a dark turn. But before we continue, if this story is resonating with you, hit that like button right now. And here's a question for the comment section. Should victims of domestic violence keep their happiness private on social media, or should they be free to live openly without fear? I want to hear your thoughts. There's no wrong answer, but this debate matters. After 5 years of silence, Jamarte Brown resurfaced. He started texting Montanae, calling her, every single day. She had already moved on. There was nothing left for them to talk about. She made that clear. Brown didn't see it that way. His messages became darker. His tone changed. He wasn't just asking her to come back anymore. He was threatening her. He told Montanae that if he couldn't have her, no one could. Montanae knew she was in danger. This wasn't just talk. She had been with Brown before. She knew what he was capable of. She knew he meant what he said. She confided in her friends and family. She told them she was scared. She told them Brown was harassing her again. She told them he was making threats. Her loved ones advised her to stay away from him completely. Don't respond. Don't engage. Just ignore him and hope he goes away. Montanae did everything right. She didn't respond to his messages. She didn't give him what he wanted. She kept her distance. But Brown refused to stop. On April 3rd, 2024, Brown called Montanae with a threat that made her blood run cold. He told her he was going to shoot up her house, even with her children inside. Montanae was terrified. She didn't wait. She didn't hesitate. She immediately called the police to report the threat. She gave them Brown's name. She told them what he said. She told them she had 2 children in the house. She also called a friend and asked her to come stay with her that night. She was too scared to be alone. Her friend came over. They thought they were safe. They thought help would arrive in time. They were wrong. April 3rd, 2024. Late evening, heading into the early morning hours. Jamarte Brown called Montanae one more time. But this time, he wasn't asking her to come back. He wasn't begging. He was threatening. He told her he was going to shoot up her house. Her children were inside. Montanae didn't waste a second. She immediately called 911. She gave the dispatcher her location. She told them exactly what Brown had said. And most importantly, she named him. She said his full name, Jamarte Brown. She made sure they knew who was threatening her. Montanae did everything right. It was around 2 a.m. when Jamarte Brown arrived at Montanae's home on the 700 block of Torrington Place, just off Salem Avenue in Dayton, Ohio. He didn't knock. He didn't call out. He didn't try to talk to her. He went straight to the back of the house, and then he kicked down the door. Not just the back door. He also kicked at the back garage door. He used brutal force. He wanted in, and nothing was going to stop him. This wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a man who lost control in the heat of the moment. This was planned. This was intentional. Montanae's friend heard the noise. She immediately called 911 again. "Hello, 911, the dispatcher answered. But before the friend could explain what was happening, the gunshots started. Bang, bang, bang. Multiple gunshots echoed through the house. The sound was deafening, terrifying. The dispatcher's voice came through the phone. "Where are you? Where are you?" But it was already too late. Jamarte Brown had opened fire on Montanae Davis. He shot her multiple times. She didn't have a chance to run. She didn't have a chance to hide. She was in her own home, in her own kitchen, and he shot her. Montanae's friend didn't just stand there. In an act of courage, she grabbed her own gun and returned fire. She tried to protect Montanae. She tried to stop Brown. But Brown fled the scene before police arrived. He ran. He left Montanae bleeding on the floor and disappeared into the night. Officers were dispatched around 2:50 a.m. When they arrived at the house, they found the back door kicked in. They found shell casings on the floor. They found bullet holes in the walls. And they found Montanae. She was lying in her kitchen in a pool of blood. She had been shot multiple times. Her body was still. But she was still alive. The officers immediately began performing life-saving measures. They did everything they could to keep her breathing, to keep her heart beating, to give her a chance. Medics arrived and rushed Montanae to Miami Valley Hospital. The doctors and nurses worked on her. They tried to save her. They tried to stop the bleeding. They tried to repair the damage. But the injuries were too severe. Approximately 2 hours after arriving at the hospital, Montanae Antoine Davis was pronounced dead. Montgomery County Coroner Dr. Kent Harshbarger confirmed her identity. She was 26 years old, a registered nurse, a mother of 2 young children, a daughter, a sister, a friend. Gone. Her children would never see their mother again. Her newborn baby would never meet her. Her partner would have to raise their child alone. Her mother, Melissa Dennis, would never get another 6 a.m. phone call. They would never go to breakfast together again. All because Jamarte Brown couldn't let her go. Montanae had done everything right. She left the toxic relationship. She rebuilt her life. She found happiness. She called the police when he threatened her. She gave them his name. She asked for help. But help didn't come fast enough. Brown got there first. And now, Montanae Davis was dead. The question everyone was asking was simple. Where was Brown now? And would he be caught before he hurt someone else? The answer came faster than anyone expected. Jamarte Brown fled the scene immediately after shooting Montanae. He didn't wait for the police. He didn't check if she was still alive. He just ran. Brown avoided main roads. He stayed out of sight. He knew the police would be looking for him. He needed to disappear. But he couldn't hide for long. When officers arrived at Montanae's home, they began collecting evidence. Neighbors reported hearing gunshots and screaming. Inside the house, investigators found shell casings on the floor and bullet holes in the walls. The back door had been kicked in. The scene told the story of a violent, forced entry. But the most important piece of evidence was Montanae's 911 call. She had named Jamarte Brown minutes before he broke into her house. She had told the dispatcher exactly who was threatening her. That call made it clear who the suspect was. Homicide detectives immediately began tracking Brown's movements. They reviewed footage from nearby homes and businesses. The investigation led them to a house in the 4500 block of Queens Avenue. That's where they saw something disturbing. A man was seen on video placing a firearm into a nearby storm sewer. But it wasn't just the gun that caught their attention. The firearm was wrapped in a toddler-sized t-shirt, a child's shirt, used to hide a murder weapon. The symbolism was haunting. Brown had just killed the mother of 2 young children. and now he was using a toddler's clothing to cover up his crime. The man in the video matched Brown's description. 2 other people were also seen leaving the area in a truck. Police knew they were close. Later that same day, at 4:10 p.m. on April 3, 2024, Jamarte Latrell Brown was arrested. Officers found him in the 2000 block of North James H. McGee at Child Street in Dayton. He was taken into custody without incident. He didn't resist. He didn't run. He was arrested and transported to jail. Brown was charged with multiple serious crimes. 4 counts of aggravated murder, 2 counts of murder, aggravated burglary for forcing his way into Montanae's home, aggravated robbery, 2 counts of felonious assault, and tampering with evidence for trying to hide the gun. His bond was set at $1 million. But due to the severity of the charges, he was held without bond. He wasn't going anywhere. On July 5, 2024, Brown appeared in court. He pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. A mental evaluation was ordered on July 26th, but on a later court date, Judge Mary Montgomery reviewed the results of that evaluation. She ruled that Jamarte Brown was competent to stand trial. He understood the charges against him. He could participate in his own defense. The case moved forward. Justice was coming for Jamarte Brown. But for Montanae Davis, it was too late. She was already gone. Days after Montana's death, family and friends gathered to honor her memory. They held a balloon release in her name. Dozens of people showed up. They brought flowers. They shared memories. They cried together. They hugged each other. They remembered the woman who had brought so much light into their lives. Hundreds of balloons were released into the sky. They floated upward, higher and higher, until they disappeared. It was a final goodbye to a woman who had lit up every room she walked into. Montanae's family described her as smart, successful, loving, and caring. They said she was the kind of person who would do anything for anybody, even if she didn't know them. On April 15, 2024, Montanae's funeral was held at Revival Center Ministries in Dayton. The church was filled with people who loved her. Candles were lit. Photos of Montanae were displayed around the room. People wore shirts with her picture on them. Friends stood up and shared their memories. They talked about her love of dancing, her love of taking pictures, her infectious laugh. The way she could make anyone smile, even on their worst day. Her mother, Melissa Dennis, spoke through tears. "Every day I'm going to mourn. I'm going to hurt." The pain in her voice was unbearable. She had lost her daughter, her breakfast partner, her best friend. Outside the church, people held candles. Some held signs calling for justice. The community was heartbroken. News of Montanae's death spread quickly on social media. Hashtags like "Justice for Montana" and "Stop Domestic Violence" began trending. Thousands of people shared her story. Videos of the funeral and tributes were posted online. People who had never met Montanae felt connected to her story. They saw themselves in her. They saw their sisters, their daughters, their friends. A larger conversation began. Should women hide their happiness to stay safe? Should victims of domestic violence keep their new relationships private? Or should they be free to live openly without fear? Some people said Montanae should have been more careful, that she shouldn't have posted her new life online. Others said that was victim blaming, that Montanae had every right to share her joy, that the problem wasn't her social media. The problem was Jamarte Brown. After Montanae's death, a debate started online. Some people said Montanae should have kept her happiness private. They said posting her new life on social media made her a target. They said she provoked Jamarte Brown by showing him what he had lost. They argued that if she had just stayed quiet, If she had just kept her relationship off the internet, maybe Brown wouldn't have snapped. Maybe she would still be alive. But others strongly disagreed. They argued that no woman should have to hide her joy just because a man can't handle seeing her move on. Montana didn't do anything wrong. She lived her life. She celebrated her wins. She loved openly and proudly. That should never be a death sentence. Montanae had every right to post about her happiness. She had every right to share her vacation photos, her pregnancy announcement, her new relationship. She had every right to live her life without fear. The real issue wasn't Montana's social media. The real issue was Jamarte Brown's obsession, his entitlement, and his violence. Blaming her online presence is victim blaming. It shifts the focus away from the person who committed the crime and puts it on the victim. It suggests that Montanae was somehow responsible for what happened to her. She wasn't. The focus should be on stopping abusers, not policing victims. The focus should be on holding men like Jamarte Brown accountable, not telling women to hide their happiness. Montanae Davis deserved to live freely. She deserved to celebrate her life. She deserved to be happy without looking over her shoulder. The problem was never her. The problem was always him. Before we wrap up, I need you to do one more thing. If you've made it this far, you're part of a community that cares about these stories and the lessons they teach. Show your support by subscribing if you haven't already. We cover cases like this every week, and your subscription helps us reach more people. Also, drop a comment. What's one thing you think could have saved Montana? Let's talk about real solutions. There are warning signs of coercive control that everyone should know. Possessiveness and jealousy. Monitoring your phone or social media. Isolation from friends and family. Explosive anger over small things. Refusal to accept a breakup. And threats of violence, like, if I can't have you, no one can. Leaving is often the most dangerous time. When a victim leaves, abusers feel they've lost control. Separation can lead to escalation. Montana did everything right. She left the relationship. She rebuilt her life independently. She confided in friends and family. She called 911 and named her abuser. She did everything the system tells victims to do. But the response time wasn't fast enough. Brown got there first. If you or someone you know is in danger, document everything. Save texts, voicemails, and emails. Tell multiple people. Don't suffer in silence. Create a safety plan. Know where you'll go. Have a bag packed. Trust your gut. If you feel unsafe, you probably are. Your life matters. Reach out. What if police had arrived 5 minutes earlier? What if Brown had been arrested on the threat alone? What if there were better systems in place? Montana's death was preventable. She'll never see her children grow up. Her partner will raise their baby without her. Her mother will never get another 6 a.m. call. Her patients will never benefit from her compassionate care. The world lost a bright light. Montana's story must be a catalyst for change. Her name should be remembered alongside calls for better protection. 5 years of silence doesn't mean an abuser has moved on. It means they've been waiting. To anyone in a dangerous relationship, you are not alone. Reach out. To friends and family, take threats seriously. Believe victims. To the system, do better. Montana did everything right, and she still died. Rest in peace. Montanae Davis. September 26, 1997 to April 3, 2024. Nurse. Mother. Daughter. Sister. Friend. Gone too soon, but never forgotten. Thank you for watching and for being part of this important conversation. If this video impacted you, please share it. Montanae's story deserves to be heard. Check out these other cases we've covered. Each one has lessons we can't afford to ignore. Until next time, stay safe, stay aware, and remember, if you see something, say something. Your voice could save a life.